So here's the deal. I've always been a bit of a tech geek. I really love technology. I love computers. I love the online world. I love all that kind of stuff. And what I love more than anything is I love the power that the online space has to really impact people in a positive, genuine way. But at the same time, I also love online business and business in general. So just to give you a sense of where I've come from, I started my first law firm back in 2004. Actually, it was 2005. Back then, lawyers were still using the yellow pages. Do you remember those? That was the primary means of getting business for a lot of lawyers. And I remember that I actually took an ad out on the yellow pages. It was a small little ad, and I spent probably $5,000 or $6,000 over the course of the year on this ad, and it got me one client. Barely paid for itself. I don't even think it paid for itself, to be honest. As I was running my own law firm, I decided that I really needed to get smart about marketing and how I was going to build my firm. And that's when I really developed this bug for the legal aspects of marketing. So I want to show you something. So you recognize this room. This is where I do most of the shooting for my videos, in here. So this is how I normally do my setup here. And then if you see here, this is, a lot of you have probably seen my books. And you'll notice, I mean, I've got, these are books like this, like here, Seth Godin, Purple Cow. That was one of the first books I got. Guerrilla Advertising, you know, from J. Conrad Levison, who passed away a couple years ago. I mean, these are all books. Obviously, we've got some Gary Vaynerchuk here. We've got some Michael Hyatt. Books that I've really leaned on and learned a lot from over the years. I don't think I've really shared any of these with you. This one right here, Endless Referrals by Bob Berg. That was one of the first books that I ever used to market my practice. So I've just always really had this interest in marketing and building a business in that way. And I don't think I've really shared that with any of you. And even over here, I've got even more books. Now, a lot of these are about divorce because I run a divorce law firm, but you know, how good attorneys become great rainmakers, and you know, just a lot of books on marketing and online business and different things like that. Because of my interest in all this, I really wanted to start some type of online business. I wanted to start something, but I was really, I feel like, trapped, I guess, by the fact that I had this law degree that I had just spent over $100,000 on. I just passed a bar exam, and now I've actually passed 2 bar exams. I identified with being a lawyer, and the idea of an online business, especially back in 2006, 2007, 2008, was something that many people, you know, it was still somewhat of a fad. It wasn't, I mean, there were people that were doing it, but it wasn't like it is today, where more and more people are going virtual. I basically continued to learn and grow and gather more knowledge about what it meant to have an online business. And I did things like I started an e-commerce brand. If any of you remember Amazing Selling Machine, I signed up for that program. I met a lot of people through that program that were interested in learning about how they could legally protect their business. And that was when the light bulb first went on for me. I started a podcast back in 2013 when podcasts were still, I don't want to say they were brand new, but they were relatively new. And it was a legal marketing podcast to teach other lawyers all the things that I'd learned about marketing from my law firm. I gather that I probably drove my wife nuts during this time period, at least over the past 10, she probably still thinks I'm nuts. But anyway, the bottom line was that I really loved business and I really loved practicing law, and I couldn't find a way to merge I really loved online business and I really loved practicing law, and I really couldn't find a way to merge the two of them. You may not realize this about me, but I'm very much an introvert. I like being alone. I like being around people at times. I like my family, I like my kids, all that. Do you hear that noise? But I also like being on my own. And having a law firm where you're dealing with people all the time, every single day, this just doesn't seem right. I hope that whatevs. It was draining for me. I always kind of wondered what would happen if I just went back to practicing law. I got offered jobs at firms. I've been offered jobs at multiple firms. I could have easily taken them and left my office and gone back and done that. But, you know, so I started a blog. I basically started dipping my toes into this stuff. And I think I already mentioned this. I started a blog. I used TypePad because that's what Seth Godin did, and I liked reading his books. At some point, I learned more and more about WordPress and self-hosting my blogs. You know, I started following people like Bob Berg, as I mentioned, and Dan Kennedy. I mean, I've got back on the bookshelf over there, I've got Dan Kennedy's magnetic marketing product. And so I kept coming back to what I really loved, which was practicing law and trying to find a way to merge this online business with a legal practice and figuring out how I can do that. I decided that I wanted to somehow, some way, create a legal enterprise that I could take and create and make virtual, spread a message and spread information to people across the United States and potentially the world about the legal information they needed when they were starting their own online business. And that's why I really came up with this idea for Hawthorn Law. And a lot of you probably don't know what Hawthorn means. And the reason I named the company Hawthorn Law, which I may change at some point, was because a hawthorn bush was used in medieval times to protect people and property from intruders. And I look at the law as a way to protect your business from people that are going to come and try and steal your intellectual property, rip you off. And that's why we call it Hawthorn Law. Hawthorn is not my last name. A lot of people write me messages and say, "Dear Mr. Hawthorn." Hawthorn is not my last name. In 2016, I got introduced to YouTube and I started uploading my first videos. And I didn't really think anything of it. I uploaded some videos on the questions that people might get or might have when they're starting an online business about LLCs and paying themselves from LLCs and all those types of things that people are typically thinking about when they're starting an online business. Honestly, I uploaded some videos and then I stopped. I didn't do anything at that point. You may notice that. There was a big lull between videos and I went back to the channel and I saw I had 8,000 or 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, what happened? I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense. And so I realized there was something there. I realized that I had filled a need. And obviously now we're at 50,000 plus subscribers. I'm thankful every day for those subscribers and for you that have supported me and my channel. And that's why I'm continuing to push on. And that's why I'm building this small business toolkit that I'm working on. And that's why I am trying to find different ways that I can really help you and be of service to you as you're starting your own online business. And I know a lot of you out there that are stuck at home right now because of everything that's happening in the world are probably thinking about starting an online business. And in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to invest more time and resources into building this channel into something that can really be a true resource for you so that you can build a business that you love and that impacts people in the way that you want it to impact the world. I know this is a little bit off topic for today. This is not necessarily legal guidance or tips or anything like that today, but hopefully you found this helpful. It gives you a little bit of background about me and what I've done and how I built the business and the YouTube channel that I have. So check out this video right here and we'll get back into the legal tips. And don't forget to subscribe, like, all those things. We'll catch you next time. Take care, folks.